And each and every time our civilization is afforded the opportunity to interact with your civilization in this manner, it opens up our understanding of all the different ways that the infinite can express itself through our perceiving each and every one of your unique points of view. So we thank you for this gift. We would like to begin this interaction and this transmission with the following idea. We would like to discuss the notion of vibrational residue, so to speak. The idea being that from time to time we have discussed and we have mentioned the principle called resonance identification. And we have discussed many times the idea that everything is vibration of energy, and that, of course, as many of you already know, whatever frequency, whatever vibrational rate you are operating on is what determines, of course, the reality experience that is reflected back to you through the experience of physical reality. But the idea expressed in the way that we would like to discuss this day of your time is a little bit more focused on the concept of resonance domains, frequency domains, strata of experiences that are each representative of a particular bandwidth or frequency or rate of vibration of energy. And how your actions, your choices of what frequencies and energies you give off actually create, in a sense, a reservoir or a buildup of vibrational residue in a particular frequency domain. For example, the idea that we have talked about from time to time that is phrased in what you would call your biblical literature as judge not, yes, in that way ye be judged. And as we have explained, meaning simply that you are not being judged by someone else, but in a sense are becoming the vibration of judgment and thus experiencing judgment reflected back to you. That is the meaning of that phrase. Let us take that a little bit more specifically to understand that in any given circumstance and situation, how you respond, how you react in that circumstance, in that situation, will create there to be a repository of energy of that particular frequency that becomes associated with that particular circumstance or situation. We know that you have certain kinds of situations on your planet. We will choose one to act as a fundamental example of what we are talking about. You have the circumstance on your planet called automobile traffic. You have expressed many times that in certain circumstances, many of you will become very angry, very frustrated, and will perhaps react in a very negative way. You will put out a particular frequency, vibration of confrontation and conflict. And the idea to understand is that when you do that, you allow there to be a strong association of that particular output to that particular circumstance or situation in general. So that if you yourself then in the future should find yourself in the very same circumstance or situation on the same frequency vibrational level again, whatever it is as a vibrational deposit that you left last time, you will then experience being reflected back to you the next time. In that sense, it is similar to the concept of self-imposed karma, self-created karma, in that if you create conflictive vibrations, frustration vibrations, anger vibrations in the first situation, then the next time you find yourself in a similar situation, it may not necessarily come back to you in exactly the same way, but come back to you it will. Because you have, in a sense, associated that circumstance with that frequency and will automatically find yourself at the receiving end of the frequency that you gave off. The idea is that you may not receive it in the same way. Individuals may not necessarily curse at you, as you say, as you may have done the first time to them. But you may experience it either that way, or you may experience all of a sudden an overwhelming sense, perhaps now that you are in their shoes, doing exactly the same thing that you cursed them out for before the first time. You may feel a sense of overwhelming shame. You may feel a sense of guilt. Not that you deserve to, not that you need to, but the idea is that this energy will come back to you in some way, for everything requires balance. And if you leave a deposit of that vibration connected to such a circumstance, then when you find yourself crossing that wavelength again, you will pick up the baggage that you left before. Because it is associated to you. It is keyed to you. It came from you. It belongs to you. It will come back to you. The idea is that, again, it may come back to you in a variety of ways. Either it will be literally reflected in exactly the same way that you gave it off, or you will feel it or experience it in your life in some manifestation that is indicative of the same vibrational level. Things suddenly may not work too well for you. Things may start to fall apart. You may feel certain emotions that are unpleasant for you. All because, to begin with, you allowed yourself to succumb to a particular vibration that may have really no benefit for you constructively, and in giving it off and associating it and attaching it to that circumstance, then it doesn't allow you to be free to experience that circumstance in the future in a clear and neutral way. Whenever you make such an association, you automatically limit the way in which you can experience that circumstance in the future until you clarify that energy as you have put it in to begin with. Always it is of great benefit and greater benefit to allow yourself the opportunity to experience any circumstance in a fundamentally neutral way, so that you can then decide to extract from the circumstance, no matter how it looks, a fundamentally positive or constructive outcome. But if you have already made the association of negative energy, so to speak, or more precisely, conflictive or discordant energy to that circumstance, then that's what you leave there for yourself to find the next time you cross that particular threshold. And in that sense, it'll be an opportunity for you to learn to render that circumstance into a neutral and fundamentally meaningless set of props that you can then be free to determine what kind of energy, what kind of outcome you would rather prefer to extract from the circumstance, no matter how it looks on the surface, and no matter how previously you may have been taught to think or label or judge or limit that circumstance. I remind you once again, every circumstance is neutral, and every circumstance can serve double duty, positive or negative. The meaning you put into it, the energy vibration you attach to it, is utterly what determines the effect you will get out of it, no matter what anyone else's intentions are. Going into it, you are your own reality, and you have the final say on exactly what frequency you experience and how you translate that frequency in your reality as body, as emotion, as spirit. It is up to you. So be aware of what energy you give off in any given situation, because you will pass that way again, and you will pick up that bag when you come back. Make sure it's baggage you want to carry. Otherwise, let it go so you can travel lightly. And in any given situation, then respond quickly, so that you will not have to then, in a sense, take the time to transform the baggage that was left there by you before. Baggage claim, you may call this if you wish. Now then, we thank you for allowing us to reflect this nuance of vibrational mechanics to you. And in return for the gift that you are giving our civilization at this time in experiencing this co-created interaction, I ask in what way at this time may I and my world be of service to you.